You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. It's Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we have got your Days of Our Lives weekly prediction edition for June 5th through 9th and beyond. We've got 5 hot predictions. We've got stuff for Gwen and Dimitri and Xander and Sarah and Eric and that baby test and Li Shin and Kristen and Crazy Colin. We have a lot to unpack here. We've got 5 sizzling hot predictions that we are excited to see if it works out that way in Salem this week. Hey, if you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, casting news, predictions, all the fun stuff about your NBC Peacock streaming soap. All right, let's dig in. Number 1 prediction, Gwen Rizczech gets a royal DiMera wedding. So Dimitri von Leuschner is set to inherit a huge stack of cash if he gets hitched by his rapidly approaching 40th birthday. So Mama Megan thinks that he should marry his Aunt Kristen, who is conveniently single and not blood related, even though it's gross. But Dimitri's like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But then Gwen shows up at the DiMera mansion looking for an interview with the new DiMera bad boy in town, and he likes the look of her. Meanwhile, Gwen is upset about Xander getting close to Chloe. She's upset about Alex ditching her. So if Gwen marries Dimitri, love or not, this could be this great revenge plan for her. And remember, she had an interest in being a DiMera before when she was trying to steal Chad from Abigail. So this could be really great for Gwen since she's at loose ends. Dimitri's nice looking. My prediction is that Gwen's going to get a royal DiMera wedding. Even if it's not a love match, it could be a lot of fun. All right, our number 2 prediction is that Xander is stunned to find out that Sarah is pregnant with his child. The clock is rapidly running out on Sarah Horton's secret, and I think it's going to come out very soon, and he is going to be gobsmacked. So next week, Bonnie Kyriakis cannot hold it in anymore, and she tells her hubby, Justin Kyriakis, that Sarah is pregnant, and despite them lying and trying to say it's Rex Brady's baby, she is very certain it is the child of that kidnapping clown Xander. So the big question is whether Bonnie and Justin will tell Xander. Remember, Ned, that's Wally Kurth's character on General Hospital, Justin face punched Xander over the kidnapping, and Bonnie's still pretty butthurt over it. But would they really keep this baby secret? Plus, Maggie Horton has an offer for Xander. I'm wondering if she is going to offer him Alex's job that she just fired Alex from. So the big question is, will Justin or Bonnie tell Xander? I don't think it's likely. If Maggie finds out, I do think she would talk to Sarah, but I think she still would tell Xander. But what I feel like is more likely is that Xander is going to overhear this, because if he's at the mansion talking to Maggie, visiting family, then he might very well overhear this, and they might specifically be whispering about it if he shows up. So with Xander rapidly falling for Chloe Lane, it's all about to get so messy and so soapy, and I'm 100% there for it. I think it'd be great if he and Chloe had fallen for each other by the time he finds out that there's a baby on the way, and then Sarah's like, oh, I'm too late, if she decides she wants him back. All right, our number 3 prediction is the paternity test that Nicole gets back. I think it's going to be hinky, but not for the usual soap reason of people swapping the test results. So here's why I think it's going to be hinky. I think there's big red flags. So it comes back saying that Eric was not a match. However, she didn't test both men. And even after EJ found out that she was running the test, he didn't volunteer his DNA. So Kayla has an imperfect data set. All that she knows is that Eric's blood is not a match for the baby's blood. And they didn't do the kind of DNA test that they used to do years ago, which was they would wait until you were far enough along in your pregnancy that they could safely take out some amniotic fluid, and they would run this in-depth DNA scan that's pretty easy to match. Instead, she is having this thing, it's called NIPP. It's non-invasive prenatal prenatal paternity testing, I think. It's NIPP, NIPPT, something like that. At any rate, it is basically when you are pregnant with a baby, some of the baby's DNA is in the pregnant mother's bloodstream. And so that's why they can take Nicole's blood and try and match it to Eric's, because the baby's DNA is in her blood while she's pregnant. Don't ask me for the scientific terms, but I did do research on this kind of test. So bottom line is what I looked at because I was curious. If Nicole is carrying twins, the type of paternity test that Kayla ran will not work. It doesn't work when you're carrying twins because if you're carrying fraternal twins are non-identical. They did not come from the same egg. It will work if the babies are from the same egg and it's identical. But in case of fraternal twins, there is, quote, free-floating DNA from both fetuses in the bloodstream. So that's a reason to suspect that this test may not be able to be trusted. First, it's a soap DNA test. Therefore, it's always a question. Second, they only tested Eric. They didn't test them both. So that points to a hinky test result. Third, there was the leaked script that had Sloan talking to Eric about checking on the baby, and he's saying, yes, the baby is okay. It doesn't seem like the timeline allows for Sloan to be pregnant with his child. Therefore, it sounds like it's going to come back around and Eric is going to be a parent out of this transaction. And the last thing that we have been talking about for a while is we know how much Ron Carlivati likes to repeat plots. I think he might be doing a Nicole pregnant with twins with two different daddies thing, just like it was with Sammy Brady and her twins. And if that is the case, then even though Eric is the father of one of those babies, it still would be a negative test result because there are two babies' DNAs in her blood. So it wouldn't come back as a clean match. So we will have to wait and see, but I do predict that Eric is not necessarily out of the running as her baby daddy, or at least one of her baby daddies. All right, our number 4 prediction for these 2 weeks is that Li Shin might marry Kirsten DiMera. While Megan is just offering to matchmake and do marriages, my question is, will there be 3 DiMera weddings? Will we get Kristen and Li Shin making a play to take over DiMera? Now, Kristen wants to take over DiMera, and she doesn't think that their brothers should be running it. Megan is more bent on world domination, but she might be happy to start with her dad's family business. So maybe Kristen and Lee will make a power marriage. At the same time, Dimitri and Gwen might be making a marriage of convenience for money. And number 3, of course, we have Stefan and Gabby already planning to get married. So I'm just wondering if Lee is going to fall into this. Of course, he's upset about this divorce from Gabby, so maybe he will rebound right into scheming Kristen's arms. It would be very strange. Of course, she wants Brady Black back, but he says he's not going to touch her with a 10-foot pole. So you never know. Our 5th prediction for the week is that Colin Bedford is going to be gunned down by Detective Jada Hunter. We're wondering if Sloan is going to lose everyone but Eric. She only has one family member left, and he is on the run, and the police are probably itching to kill the guy. And remember, next week, spoilers, have him cornering Talia, who is out on bail, and Jada, of course, is going to be frantic when Colin is loose and Talia's out on bail. She already has it in her head that Colin was abusing Talia, and while Talia said he never hit her, Jada said, well, there are more than just physical abuse that you can suffer. So if Jada finds Colin with Talia and making threats, I would imagine that Jada would gleefully put a bullet in him and create a big soapy mess because, of course, Sloan Peterson would freak out and sue her. It would be a whole bunch of soapy fun. All right, those are all of our day's predictions. We can't wait to hear your comments. We're going to recap them real quick so you remember. So when you go to make comments, you'll pick out your favorite prediction to talk to us about. If you haven't, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, casting news, all the good stuff you need to know. All right, here's a quick recap of the 5 predictions. Be sure and tell us below if you think you agree, yes, these are going to happen, what you're most excited about. Let us know in your comments. We love chatting with you. All right, number 1, Gwen Rizczech's going to get a DiMera groom out of Dimitri. Number 2, Xander is going to be gobsmacked because the Sarah baby news is going to leak sooner rather than later. Number 3, Eric's not a match match, but he might still be the baby daddy if this test is hinky. Number 4, will Li Shin marry crazy Kirsten DiMera? And number 5, Colin gunned down by Jada? We'll see. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.